Let's see, today is March 4th, 2013. This is my first addition to CuplaTag, which is our little project here. And I don't really have a clue what I'm doing, so let's just get the ball rolling and see what happens. Last time you talked about privilege a fair amount. This is something that's been on my mind lately because there are all sorts of different kinds of privilege, like I'm privileged to have an apartment and a place where I live and apparently a really bad hair day. The thing that really gets my goat is people who are privileged who refuse to sort of acknowledge their privilege. I think the more aware you are of what kind of privilege you have, the less likely that privilege is going to sort of take over your actions. There was an article I read years ago, sometime in college. It's sad that men, in like married or couple relationship, if men, men in the house with their wives or their girlfriends or whatever that arrangement is, thought they helped out around the house a lot more than they actually did, because they're like, hey, I'm totally for women having equality, that's awesome, go for it, but not really acknowledging that they benefit from privilege. Just the other day, I was watching a couple young women cleaning up dishes after a dinner, and a bunch of guys were standing right next to the kitchen talking about really interesting things that I'm sure the women would have been interested in participating in. I mean, I work at a college campus, for crying out loud. Everybody's interested in everything. And one of the guys was like, so we're all out here talking and there are only women in the kitchen. This probably isn't good, is it? And they're like, oh no, probably not. And then they kept talking. It's like, wow, you were that close to sort of recognizing your privilege and you stepped away. Wow. There's another study that I've heard about, and I'm not citing anything because that's really boring and I can do that when I'm back in school. It was about advertising, where people who were most likely to say, yeah, of course advertising affects me, were the least likely to actually be affected by it, to actually, take in negative body images or negative feelings about themselves because of advertisements. While the people who were like, it's just an advertisement, it doesn't have anything to do with me, were the most likely to be affected. It's a really interesting concept that I think can be applied to a number of different situations. We were talking about rape culture, and this guy was saying, how could I possibly benefit from rape culture? I'm all for women having equality, and I'm all for, this is disgusting. I don't think it should happen. Excuse me. Just because you're not, just because you're not raping people all the time doesn't mean you don't benefit. Any woman you interact with should know, good grief, I hope they know, that, you could rape them. You have power over them because of that. Or, and not necessarily rape, but other, things in that regard. By the way, your punishment for going over will be your next video has to be upside down. Interpret that as you will.